So what do you think is the major driving force that is preventing marriage equality from moving forward?
The Midwest, the red states, unfortunately.
How so?
I think people who tend to fear what they don't understand. And in the red states, in the middle of America, in the deep south, they tend to have these ultra sort of religious ideals and doctrines where they really have no exposure or very minimal exposure to people of this culture or lifestyle. And I think that's really the fear of that is what's keeping them from voting Republican and voting to keep this type of thing illegal, when it really shouldn't be. There's no reason for it.
Is there anything that people can do individually to begin that process from turning over?
Writing your congressman, letting them know that if they vote against things like this, that may cost them a seat. I think it's a lot of it is politics, and people, especially people in the legislatures, tend to vote in ways that they think is going to keep them elected or keep them in power. If they start to realize that taking these sorts of stances or issues is not going to keep them in power, it may start to change their position.
So this is a war that has to be won politically?
I think it has to be won on all fronts, but politically is certain. When we talk about the law, most of the laws are written in the legislature and in the public opinion. That's where it has to be won.
So what are your thoughts on Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton and her centrist attitude recently with marriage equality?
Well, I would like her, of course, to be able to speak her mind and say what she really feels. But unfortunately, the political reality is that centrists get elected. I'd much rather have someone like Hillary Clinton in office who, at least in her heart, does support this issue and has to sort of keep quiet about it to get elected than someone like George Bush, who's openly against it and who's going to take steps to hurt this issue.
Is there something she can do strategically, working within her group, to make it happen?
I think marriage tends to be a state-by-state issue. What she can do is make sure that when laws come up at a federal level, that obviously the party votes against them. But I think marriage equality in general tends to be more of a state issue. The states decide whether or not they want issues. So that war really has to be fought, I think, with the individual governors and individual legislative houses. But I think the real danger we have is if you have someone like George Bush who wants to now pass an amendment saying you can't do it, which would sort of prohibit everybody. That's the real danger. And I think having someone like Hillary Clinton in office who supports it quietly is better than not having someone who's publicly against it. And unfortunately, the reality is, I think if she comes out publicly for it, she's going to lose a lot of votes. And it's sort of one of the things where you make the noise and you have the right message, but at the end, you lose. And I don't think that's what serves everyone's interests in the best way.